What's up, everybody? It's Chris with ProPhoto. This is Geared Up. This is our weekly live broadcast where we talk about lighting, gear, new products, old products, just techniques, things in general that you want to talk about from the photography side. We usually pick a subject, whether it be an actual like how to light something or how to work on something or how does something even work. And we break that down for that. If you're watching this on prophoto.com, there's going to be little pictures of stuff flying around as I talk about them. That's just if you want more information on those things. So like if I say B10 or B10X, there might be a B10X that pops up on either the bottom or the side of this thing. You can click that and go check that stuff out while we're still talking. If you're on YouTube or Facebook watching this bad boy, you're not going to get that experience. You can still, we're still monitoring the chats either way, so hit us up with a question. That being said, today, we're talking about how to light couples with one light. So it's pretty easy to do. I mean, a lot of people are like, oh, I can light a couple, and they'll throw like an umbrella on this side, an umbrella on that side. But what if you only have one light? Or what if, heaven forbid, you go to an event and you brought two lights, but then all of a sudden you realize, oh, I don't have a whole bunch of extra batteries to run two lights. I need to really conserve what I've got. You need to understand some principles about lighting to, cover your butt, right? So we're just going to be talking about some things that you want to pay attention to, maybe some things that are shoot portraits of couples. Let's dive into it. For time when people are doing portraits of a couple, they're usually side by side for the most part, or they're relatively close. And what happens a lot of the time is, you'll see people take their light. You might want to go kind of wider to the side or something like that, because I'm going to be scooting this thing around. Hey, I can see you in the shot. Kate's here. But a lot of times what they'll do is they'll kind of bring the light in relatively tight to their frame. And if I was standing here, if I was the person that the light was the closest to, and Kate's right here, which is she will be here in a couple of seconds, you have to pay attention to light placement. So if you start... It's weirded me out because, I apologize, it's weirded me out because my voice is going into the umbrella and it's like kind of, it's coming back at me. I'm trying to focus and I apologize, but it's really weird in my ear. Okay. I'm back. Okay, so what we were saying is the light that's closest to the subject, you have to be careful not to get it too close, called the inverse square. In its most basic form, the inverse square law simply states that the closer the light is to the subject, the faster it's going to get darker. So if you have this one light closer to me and Kate is right here, if this is super duper close, this light's going to light me really, really nicely, and Kate or the next person or the person next to you or next to the subject, the subject is going to start to go a little bit darker. It's going to start being a little more underexposed, and that's just because the light's falling off so fast. So one of the first things you want to do is you want to back that light up a little bit, okay? And I'm going to show you all this stuff when we're actually photographing here in a moment, but you're going to want to back the light up. One of the cool things about umbrellas, so this is the large umbrella with the white inside, and I choose the white inside just for its better coverage. But the cool thing about an umbrella is the inverse square law actually works with an umbrella as long as you don't have a diffuser on the front of it. So the light traveling from here to hit that umbrella and then back out, the distance from this light to here matters. So that's the kind of a cool thing about the umbrella is you could have an umbrella a little bit closer and the light's going to slow down a little bit. So the distance that the light has to go to the umbrella and then back out, that matters with the inverse square law. Now, if I throw on like this 3-foot octa right here, or I put the diffusion panel over the front of the umbrella, then that like extra little distance that you have is negated because the front of the panel actually becomes the light source. So just a cool little tip, cool little thing to think about if you're trying to choose modifiers for lighting some couples or just in general, that little distance adds to the inverse square law. So, but back to what we were saying. Me, other subject here, and this is also going to start to apply too with going, like if there's people backwards. So like if, I'm here and there's another subject here and you have the light to the front, if the light is too close to the subjects in the front, I'm gonna start going dark. Caitlin, can I have you here? I'm pointing to. Let's just go to.
Where do you want me to go here?
Go to the Can we do widen side on the super source?
Yeah, of course.
I'm just gonna bring Kate in just to kind of show you placement of the people that I'm talking about.
That's good right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So if we're side by side, cool. If this light is too close, I'm gonna be well lit, and it's gonna start to get.
Do you want me to be flat?
It doesn't really matter because we're not photographing just yet. But this light's gonna hit me, and because it's closer, it'll expose for me, especially if you're using TTL, it'll expose for me, and the light hitting Kate will be a little bit underexposed, something you need to think about. But say if we were shooting like a group shot, it's gonna be weird because she's just as tall as me right now with her heels on, but say we were shooting like group shots, right, and you have like rows of humans. If this light is too close, the side shot will be good for this. If the light is too close here, right, I will start to go darker because it's going to be exposed for the people in the front. So when you start layering in people, or just in general, even with just two people, if we were doing something like this and I was a little bit further behind Kate, as you start to layer this people in, you need to remember to back that light up a little bit. Thanks, Kate. Appreciate it. And we'll photograph here in just a second. But you want to remember to back that light up a little bit. That way the light has more time to even out as it's falling off. It won't be falling off so quick. You start to even out all the stuff with your subjects. I tell people a lot of the times, just when you're shooting group shots, just try to back the light up some more than you think you normally would, because again, that will help maintain an exposure across the entire party. And the bigger the party, the more layers of people, or the wider the group is, the further back that light's gonna need to go. So just something really, really crucial to remember when you're talking about how you light someone, especially with one light. With one light, it's even more important. So, and then if you're gonna be using something like an umbrella with one light, you're gonna wanna make sure you have a little bit more powerful light. I'll show you this with the A10. We shot these originally with the A10, but as you start to kind of back it up, you're gonna want some more power to fill up an umbrella. If you're shooting direct on, which we're gonna take a shot direct, so you can see if you don't have any modifiers, how you would do it, we're gonna do that with just the A10. So it should be really, really cool. So that being said, I'm gonna bring, let's do this. So we're gonna actually take some photos now, and we're gonna show you when the light's super close, and then when the light's kind of backed off a little bit more, how that affects how the light hits the subject. So I'm gonna bring this right, you know what, let's go softbox, because I can point it a little bit more. So I'm gonna throw the 3-foot octa on right now for this. And then I'll show you kind of how things change up a little bit with the umbrella. But the octa will, because I don't have the because it has a diffusion panel on it, it should show you even more of what I'm talking about a little bit easier. So B10 with an octabank on it. Cool. Let's get this here.
I have the side shot.
Gotcha. Do you want to go to the camera?
Do you want the wide shot?
Let's go.
Main shot?
No, we can do the side shot. It's fine.
Okay. All right.
Do the side shot with the camera. Cool.
This works out?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay.
That's good. So we're gonna take one shot. The exposure. I'm just gonna take a quick shot. Could you just hit the button really fast? I just want to see where we are exposure wise, because I've changed it up a touch. It's probably gonna be a little. Yeah, that's what I figured. Hit it again really fast. Cool, so let's try this. So I'm gonna jump in here.
That's actually a little more forward, I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, so the light's a little bit closer to me, so we'll see how this changes things. The button swerved on you.
It's going crazy on.
So because the light's closer to me, we should see a better exposure on myself. And you can see it actually starts to fall off quite drastically on Kate in that shot. So to even this out a little bit, all we simply have to do is back this light up. So let's do that. Obviously we have to power up, but this should, and so I've probably doubled I've easily went back 3 feet. So let's go ahead and power this thing up to 9. And we'll see how this changes the exposure. It might be a little, I might have gone a little bit too far on the exposure, but we'll see how it changes stuff. Hang on just a second. Just want to make sure my leg's up. There we go.
Ready?
Give it the old button push. Cool. So let's see. So just by backing the light up, giving it a little bit more power, the exposure between the first shot and the second shot is way better on both subjects, right? So there's a lot more coverage. It looks really, really nice. And honestly, I'm probably on the first shot a touch overexposed. So let's go to the first shot and bring the exposure back a touch so you can see what we're talking about. So if you expose for me properly, you can see with the first shot how much, how quick the exposure starts to fall off with Kate. So, and this is going to apply to, like I said, people who are staggered front to back or left to right. Like, so if there are people, there's groups going forward.
To the wrong camera.
Oh, I'm talking the wrong camera. Oh, we're over here. Gotcha. So it's just this. So used to facing that way. So this applies to whether you have people going forward or people to the side. Cool. So are there any questions about anything?
They're not populating on my thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're not popping up there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, weird. Can you refresh it just to make sure I don't want to miss anything? Is there anything on the band user so far? Cool. Hey everybody, I see the haze out there. What's happening? Annie Goldman, I see you out there. Appreciate that. But it's the whole idea behind it is relatively simple. So again, just back the light up a little bit. It's really, honestly, what it comes down to the most. We good?
Yeah, we're all good.
Sweet, sweet. So that's with a softer modifier. I'm gonna throw in the umbrella just to kind of see how the umbrella changes a lot of that stuff up. Again, because you don't have the diffusion panel on the front of it, so you get that little bit of extra throw between the light to the umbrella before the light even bounces out of it. So let's go here.
Oh, we just have something. How to do 2 rectangular lights? How would that affect the image?
2 rectangular lights? Well, I mean, it only affects the image.
How do the 2 rectangular lights affect it? Oh, I think they're talking about these.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry.
So someone's asking how do my video strip lights affect the image, and they shouldn't at all. Like this is what. Here, I'll take.
We could turn them off.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do that. Just turn my flashes off, and oh, I've been having some tether cable issues. And I believe I'm having it again, so I apologize. Give me just a split second. All right, let's cycle the camera really fast. There we go. So just so you see the picture that came up, that is with all of the lights on in the studio. So my camera settings are set in a way to make sure that any of my overhead lights, so you can see the video, don't affect the image whatsoever. So black screen, that's what we're getting. So none of the video lights affect it. So cool stuff. Let's go umbrella. For stuff like this, I like to kind of keep the umbrella a little bit further out. Can they see on the wide shot? Yeah, so.
Hey, how are you shooting with your phone? Love to know.
Yeah, so camera-wise, I use a Fujifilm. So I have a Fuji X-T3, and they have this really dope app. I can't imagine that most camera companies don't have an app now. But they have this really sweet app that I can like load my photos from it and stuff like that. But one of the things in it is a remote release. So it's just a Bluetooth release to my camera, and we just have it set up right there to make it super simple. So it's nice. It's a nice little wireless setup. Cool, so let's do this now with the umbrella. Let's bring this back down to, I believe 7.5 is where we were. And so we're gonna do the same thing with the umbrella, and you'll see how this kind of changes a little bit. So we'll do a front shot. Here we go. You wanna jump in here?
Yep.
Cool. So, oh, you know what I didn't do? Didn't turn the trigger back on. showed people stuff and I forgot to actually turn the Connect back on. So now that we have a Connect,
Right.
I think we should be good to go. Here we go. You wanna?
I got it. 1, 2, 3.
So the nice thing about the umbrella is it's already, you can still see it's kind of close, and my exposure is pretty good. Kate starts to fall off some, but again, you push it back, and we even have more distance with this. So let's go up and power a little bit. Oh.
Sorry, knock you over.
Go for it.
1, 2, 3.
I can usually talk during the photos, but I have to actually keep my mouth shut while it's happening. But look how big of a difference that is just by backing the light up a little bit and how much more coverage we have. So that's really the key takeaway. Let's back that light up. And then obviously one of the next things you're probably gonna wanna do, me personally for this shot, it's a little too side lit. I'd like to bring it around. Maybe get it right here. I just wanna make sure it's out of the frame of my camera.
You're good. We're on side.
Yeah, no, I was talking about this being in frame and the camera taking a picture with. So now what's cool is you can bring that light back around. Because the way that she's kind of leaning on me, her face is back just a touch. So this right here will make sure that light still hits us super even. So you gonna go for it?
1, 2, 3.
Oh, and it's mad again. I'm having like epic tether cable issues. I apologize, party peeps. Let's get this back. Yeah, check that really fast. I think I finally.
Also demo the umbrella with the diffuser, please.
Yeah, so I could throw a diffuser on there, but the point of the 3-foot Octa was to give you that same feel as the diffuser without me having to put it on and take it off. So the 3-foot Octa is going to give you a lot of the same feels that the diffuser was going to give you with this. So, and honestly, I'll have to shuffle through all my diffusers to grab it. So that was the point of bringing the 3-foot Octa in.
But when you take the light farther away, does it become more harsh?
No. So
I'm gonna say that anyway.
So someone was asking, when you start to push the light away, does it become more harsh? This is where you start to walk the line of figuring out the right modifier for what you're doing. So I chose a big softbox, so like a 3-foot Octa. I chose the large umbrella because I know in this lesson that I'm gonna have to teach you to push your light source back some. So in theory, yes, the light does become a little more harsh, but your light modifier is so large that minuscule change in light quality should be exactly that, minuscule. So if you, again, know that you're gonna back something up even further, maybe you go with an extra large umbrella. Maybe you bring a 4-foot Octa. So it's one of those things that if you know that you're shooting groups, bring the modifier that you might need to shoot that group. We're gonna take a hard light photo too, just because I think people think hard light photos on groups are bad, and they're not. It's actually a really great way to conserve your battery on your B series flashes, because you're not having to be powered up so high. And again, depending on your placement, it can look quite beautiful. I think most people expect a hard light to be hard or a hard light to be ugly because they're not controlling the shadows very well, but I'll show you a technique to kind of help control their shadows a little bit better. So we brought this around. Let's take a shot with the camera actually not mad at me tethering. Ready, Kate?
All right, let's do it.
For a second, I thought you had headphones on. I thought you were about to rip your head off.
I mean.
Cool. So you ready? So that's with the light brought back around a little bit more. So because her face is set back a little bit further on to where my head is, this light right here is going to hit both of them way more even. So again, as my face is here and her face is a little bit further back, that light's going to hit it more even, and you're not going to have to worry about any exposure issues. So let's talk about like if you're going with more of a hard light setup. So the cool thing is hard light is quite beautiful. It's just one of those things where you have to pay attention to your shadows. So what I would tell someone to do who's going with, oh, we're here. What I would tell someone to do if they're going the hard light route, if you want to, again, conserve your battery. Oh, we're back here again.
You're both ways.
Yeah. Oh, we're both ways. Gotcha. I looked up for a second to see where we were. So if you're trying to conserve your battery life, go with a hard light, but shoot it close to the camera. So if I'm photographing you, try to keep the light right here with you or behind you. Like keep the light close up. And luckily and this is kind of going to help out too, because you're probably going to be further back to shoot this larger group unless you go super wide, but you have to be careful of edge distortion. So you're going to be back a little bit further. So if you can get in front of the light, that'd be really, really nice too, because it's going to be more of a butterfly style light this way. Really, really flattering on a lot of people. So you can go with the butterfly style light, or you could push it off a little bit to the side, still kind of butterfly-y, maybe a touch more loopish, but keeping the light really close to the camera with a hard light source is beautiful. And we're gonna take a shot like that right now. Let's throw the A10 on there for it.
Quick question.
Yeah.
How to determine how close to place the umbrella on the B10 head?
So the closer that the umbrella is, so someone asked, how do you determine the position of the umbrella on the flash head? So, let me pop this open. The closer the flash is inside, we're both here. Yeah. So you can kind of see here as I'm going further in and out. So the closer the flash head is pushed into the umbrella itself, the less space it's going to actually utilize on the inside of the umbrella. So when you're utilizing less space, the light source is going to get a little bit smaller. So you want to try to, especially in what we're talking about, keep the umbrella positioned further back so you're utilizing more space. Just think in your mind, what is it you're trying to achieve? So like it's really cool with the silver umbrella, because the silver umbrella, when you push it in closer to the umbrella, it really tightens up and gives you this really like punchy beam spread. The white's a little more forgiving, but keeping the light further back is going to utilize more of that umbrella. So I would, that's just how to think about it. So do you need to utilize more umbrella or less umbrella? That's how you position it. Hopefully that helped. So now let me show you, we're going to take the same shot, but we're going to do it with a hard light source with an A10 and
Side shot.
Oh, hey, we're a side shot. So with the A10 on the OCF adapter, just to get it onto a light stand. So let's do that. Very cool. Point this down. Let's make sure we're powered up. And so I'm gonna just put the light just off to the side. I'm gonna have you jump in there for a second. I'm gonna make sure we have the right exposure, Kate. So the light is gonna be just off to the side of the camera itself. So let's take this right here, Kate. Just really quick. I feel like I'm gonna be able, maybe I can go up a little bit more. So let's go to 9 maybe. And so just so you know, this light is probably 8 to 10 feet away. Yeah, that looks nice. That's a nice exposure. So the light is just off to the side of the camera. It's right there. And actually, you know what? This is one thing I didn't check. I had the camera flash zoomed in quite a bit. So I want to make sure that we split the difference a little bit so we get some coverage. So cool. So if you need to go with more of a harsh light, let's do it side by side. So, you ready?
Ready for me?
Ready for you. A hard light is nice when you're paying attention to how the shadows fall. So you can see the light doesn't look too harsh. I think one of the big things that people don't like about hard light is the flash to ambient ratio. So if you feel like your harder light looks a little flashy, that's generally because it's got a lot of contrast in it. And what you could do, here, I'll do it for you. You can slow the shutter speed down a little bit and bring in some ambient. So let's do this really fast. So let me see this right here. Hang on just one second. So what I'm doing is slowing my shutter speed down, and I'm using my live view to see how much of this, how much of the studio lights I might actually bring into the shot. I think that's probably pretty good. So here we go, Kate. Sorry, we're gonna check for questions really fast. I'm gonna show you some shots, but I brought in, since these are all, my video lights are daylight balanced and my flash is daylight balanced, we're gonna be able to drop some of that contrast just by slowing the shutter speed down. And you can do this same technique when you're inside a location or outside with a group. You can slow your shutter speed down and bring in some of that background light, and you can mix that with hard light, and the harshness, which is generally just a contrast issue, should start to minimize. So let's jump in here. Yep, I'm ready for you. Cool. So that should drop down the contrast a little bit more. So you can see the everything is starting to lighten up. It's starting to look really good here. So you can kind of see, for comparison's sake, you can see that the shadows are starting to be less dark. They're starting to come up quite a bit. And then you could affect this even more by going and bring in, I could slow my shutter speed down a little bit more. So don't be afraid to do this with the hard light method as well as the soft light method. So let's pull up a couple of these photos just so you can kind of see what we're doing, and then we're gonna sign off for the day. It's been super fun. I'm gonna make sure I don't have any things down here. Hey everybody. Cool, cool, cool. So,
could this technique be used for like a run and gun session?
100%. Someone asked, could this technique be used for a run and gun session? Absolutely. So you could, again, it's gonna be one of those things where, so if you are going on camera with your like, say you go A10 on top of the camera and you want to run a gun like that, if you back up some more, the same rules are going to apply. You're just going to obviously want to either zoom in or zoom out. So you're going to have to play with that if you're trying to be quick, or if you have like something really small, like one of these little like nano stands or something like that, you want to set it down really, really quick. It really just comes down to paying attention to how you're grouping your people. Are you grouping them side to side? Maybe you want to bring that light a little bit around, a little bit more to the front.
What is a running gun session?
Oh, someone asked what a running gun session? A running gun session is just like, you're on
like a wedding shoot.
Yeah, like you're running all over the place and doing stuff. The type of session doesn't matter, essentially what it comes down to. It really comes down to understanding how you're placing your subjects. If you generally, if you're going to place your subject side to side, you might want to bring that light around here a little bit more and give it some distance. You don't have to go too crazy with it, but give it a little bit of distance. That way, if someone's a little bit further forward or backwards, you can make sure that they're both illuminated the same. And by bringing it around this way, you're going to keep catch lights in the eyes. You're going to kind of keep it from being too shadowy on this side, right? With one light. If you're doing photos of people who are staggered forward to backwards, same rule applies. You want to take that light and you want to bring it further away from them, so as the light hits the first person, it doesn't fall off really quickly and start to make the people behind them underexposed. So, and then I showed you that with this shot right here. You could do that with a hard light and it looks quite beautiful. Again, because we kept that light positioned very, very close to the camera, it gives a nice butterfly look, or actually this is starting to kind of turn into more of a loop light, but really, really flattering. And by slowing my shutter speed down a little bit more, I was able to bring up some of that contrast and lower down the perceived harshness that comes from hard light. Generally, that harshness or that flashy look is just a contrast increase. So
Shane says pull the couples back from the background to reduce some of those.
Yes, that's a good tip too. I only have so much working distance, Shane, but thank you for saying that. If you are I think our paper roll unrolled.
That was crazy.
Yeah, our paper roll unrolled itself for a second. Apologize. So, if you're shooting someone towards a wall, especially with the hard light setup or with the on-camera setup, try to bring them, like Shane was saying, a little bit further away from the wall. That'll keep the shadows like you see here from being so pronounced in the shot, also helping with some of that flashy look. So bring that ambient up, separate them from the wall a little bit. Great extra little tip there, Shane. I didn't even think about that, so I appreciate you. Again, just back the light up a little bit and understand that if you're going into a session shooting groups, bring something a little bit larger or plan to shoot hard light and plan on it, and maybe as you're exploring getting into hard light, maybe you take your safe shots with some soft light and you want to play around with your hard light afterwards. Get your safe shots, then take the modifier off, shoot some harder light. It's really, really beautiful. Again, bring up that shutter speed, drop that contrast. Really, really good stuff.
Janice wants to know what what program you're using to view the photos.
Oh, so I tether into a program called Capture One. It's a really brilliant tether, and I guess post-production software. The raw conversion on it's amazing. I love it so much. It's super fast on the tether. So it's called Capture One. I think it's at version 22 at this point. So really, really great software. Capture One.
Random question: how do you mount your Profoto light to the wall?
Oh, someone likes my wall. Somebody likes my wall mount. So someone was asking, how do I get these mounted to the wall? Lots of grip companies make baby pin wall adapter plates. A lot of times it's made for if you don't have room for a light stand down somewhere, or you just want to mount a light permanently. You can get for that, but I use them as a way to quickly grab my lights and keep them off of my shelf space, which sometimes is a little bit limited. So cool. I think, are we good?
Let's see. I think we're good on questions here.
Anything on the Face? Cool.
Yeah.
So, hey, thank you all so much for all your questions. Thanks, especially Shane. Thank you for that wall tip. Something, again, I was not thinking of. But this has been super duper fun. Just as a quick breakdown, really when it comes down to what it comes down to, you're going to want to take your light and back it up a little bit further from your subject. If your subjects are standing side by side, back that light up to the side or bring it around a little bit more, but still back it up. If your subjects are staggered front to back, you want to, again, back that light up a little bit more so it falls off slower, and the people in the front and the people in the back can be illuminated the exact same. This is really good stuff to know with one light. Once you start getting into like multiple lights, you can start to finesse where you want the lights to hit certain things. But if you're trying to keep it scrappy and stay with one light so you're really, really mobile, use that inverse square law to your advantage and back that light up a little bit. Bring a bigger modifier if you need softness. Don't be afraid of your hard light modifiers. All you need to do is slow your shutter speed down, bring up some of that ambient light, and like Shane said, pull your subjects away from the wall a little bit more than we were so that you can see no shadows. Thank you again. Hope you have an awesome rest of your week. If you want any information, if you want any more information about anything, you can jump into like a one-on-one session with either myself or Gibbe or Anders, although I think he's on vacation this week.
I think we have Lisa.
Oh, Lisa's here. Lisa's in town, so it should be really, really fun. Just click the link over on the side and we'll be rock and rolling. Thank you again so much. Have an awesome rest of your week. See you next time. Peace out.